Hi friends, welcome to the first bonus episode from Bite Size Bible. I'm Faith Kemmler, and Laura Bentley and I filmed an episode on how to choose a Bible translation. And that episode was mostly geared towards adults. I serve as the Director of Children and Family Ministries here at Westminster, and so this bonus episode is all about choosing Bibles for your kids. If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, there's also a video version where you can see some of the Bibles that I'm talking about. And if you're here on the video, you can go listen to the audio version if you don't want to see the Bibles that I'm talking about. There are a couple of things to think about when picking Bibles for your kids. And I've got a couple Bibles for a couple different ages as well. So Bibles are grouped into two categories. For me, there are story Bibles, and then there are like Bible Bibles, text Bibles, whatever. The important thing about story Bibles is that story Bibles are Bibles. They're not any different, they're not any less than a Bible with the full text. They're just a different way of telling the story, and what the Bible does is tell the story of our faith. So when you're looking for story Bibles, whether that's for pre-readers or children who can read, one of the most important things that I look for when I look for story Bibles is I look at the pictures and what the pictures look like. How realistic are the pictures? How cartoonish are the pictures? That really also is going to depend on what you're looking for. Do you want more realistic pictures, or do you want more cartoon level, or somewhere right in the middle? Something else that is really important to me when choosing story Bibles in my classroom is looking at the skin tones of the people in the pictures. There were a diverse array of skin tones represented and that should be represented. And so when I'm choosing Bibles, I'm looking at the skin tones of the characters within the Bible pictures and how those pictures are told. Some of the Bibles here that I have all the same art style, and some have different art styles for different stories as well. Obviously, in addition to the art style, you want to look at some of the stories, the way they're telling them. What I usually recommend people do is choose one or two stories that maybe you know well or important to you. And when you're choosing between story Bibles, read that same story in every Bible. And that can kind of be like your baseline and barometer as you're looking at and thinking about which one you want to choose. So my first recommendations, we're going to start youngest to oldest. I really like this Frolic First Bible, and the best part about this Bible is that it is a board book Bible, and so you can give this to your littlest ones, and they can read and hold and play with this Bible because it is made for them to read and hold and play with. It's even got like the front pages are like kind of squishy, and these aren't pages that they can rip or anything like that. In this Frolic First Bible, all of the stories are just like a 2-page spread like this. So each story is just short like that. You're not looking at a lot of pages to read, but this is really great to actually get children used to holding the Bible in their hands and flipping through the pages and playing with it. After this Frolic First Bible, there's also the Frolic Preschool Bible. And these are similar, but some of the main differences, one, you get to the paper pages like you would have in a normal Bible. In the preschool Bible, there are a few more stories than there are in the first Bible. And the stories themselves, they're still just these 2-page spreads here, but you can see there's just a bit more text with it here. And so those are two of my favorite for infants, toddlers, preschoolers. After that, we get into some more Bibles that are going to be for right on the cusp of pre-readers and kids starting to read. And the one I reach for the most, my favorite, is this Growing in God's Love story Bible. I really love the authors of this Bible, and the one pro that I really like is this is a Bible with a lot of diverse artwork, and so you're not looking at the same art for every single story. This Bible also just has the story across these 2-page spreads, and you'll usually see like one whole page of story and one whole page of art. And usually the first paragraph is something that ties in like a hook for the story. And so you've got a little bit of real life to tie these longer stories into. And then at the end, you have hear, see, and act. So if you're looking to read the Bible with your children and then take it a step beyond, this story Bible has some great next steps, ways to start discussion, to begin engaging in the story with your family. Another Bible that I really like is this Shine On Story Bible. It has a lot of similar things to the Growing in God's Love, where the artwork is different. You get all sorts of different styles as you're going through, different illustrators providing different stories. And again, this 2-page spread here, this one has the illustrations and photos are a lot larger and the text is always just to the side. But you can see at the bottom, these have a wondering question, and then at the top, a way to connect and a way to explore more. So again, this one has some great ways to expand beyond just reading the story and to think a little bit more beyond that. Then just kind of a quick fire round. I like this I Wonder Story Bible. Glennis Nellis is another of my favorite authors. Most of her books are on this shelf behind me. And her stories end with wondering questions, which are really great open-ended ways to just sit in the wonder and mystery of what Scripture is and what the Bible is telling us. The Jesus Storybook Bible is a classic. The stories in the Jesus Storybook Bible are longer. They're all a couple of pages long as opposed to those just like 1 or 2 pages we've seen in those other Bibles. So you get some more text in here. And the illustration is the same all throughout this. A couple of others that I don't have with me, but I really like. The Peace Table. I think it's called the God's Big Story Bible. I'll put pictures of them up here. Those are 2 that are also really great story Bibles. So those are all of the story Bibles I enjoy and start with. Once you've got kids that are really into reading, or maybe they've grown into chapter books and past picture books, we're looking at late elementary and some middle school books. This is a Bible we give out to our 3rd graders here. It's called the Deep Blue CEB Bible. And this one is a full text Bible like you would find in the pews here at church or an adult reading. But this has different little characters, different facts, different application as you scroll through the pages. For kids to engage with, to learn more. Like this is all about refuge cities in the books of Numbers. And so we give these, like I said, to our 3rd graders. Really good Bible. If you're looking for maybe a middle schooler or something a little older than that, they might not be as into those pictures there, the Connect Bible is also good. And again, this would be for your like late elementary, middle school age kids. And this Bible, again, is a full text Bible. You'll find like little boxes here about specific stories as you go through it. And this Deep Blue Bible also have at the beginning of books, they'll have a little bit about the book that you're reading and whatnot as well. Then, once we get into those older teenagers, upper middle, and high school, the 2 that I have heard, so this we've given out to our teens here at Veritas before, and I've heard from a handful of them that they really like this Bible, this guidebook here. And this is an NRSV student Bible, and it has within it still a lot of these like information panels, extra ways to engage, and our teens seem to really like and resonate with that. And you've got the information at the beginning of books, some maps and things in the back. And then the other student Bible that I like for teens is the CEB Student Bible. The CEB is one of my preferred translations with kids and adults. It's easier to read than the NRSV, and that helps. The CEB, just like those others, has at the beginning of chapters, at the beginning of books, about some of those books, and then facts in the middle of scripture that can get you thinking or ways to expand upon it. So that is my bite-sized look at children's Bibles for birth all the way through teenagers. But really these Bibles can be for anyone. I really enjoy reading story Bibles for myself. I sometimes find they're pretty powerful to read with adults too, because they can just get you to think in a different way. And the important thing about Bibles, with kids and really with anyone is remembering that they are a story. And so these story Bibles and these different Bibles help us to hear God's story and remember that we are a part of God's story. Thanks.